'Tis time for another show for Litter Media Live, August 2nd of 2024, with Mike Smith and Aaron Gland, and I'm Dan Ramey. Hi, good to see you all here.
Tis. Sounds like Christmas. Tis the season.
We are heading to the end of the Pike County Fair, and that wraps up tomorrow night with the demolition derby and everything, as normally it usually does. And then Sunday, the Ross County Fair starts its stuff. And I know they've got activities there tomorrow, so and there are probably activities there today, truly, because I'm sure they're setting up, and a lot of folks are like, the dust is starting to settle.
I would say probably most of the campers are probably going to be set up by the end of the day, if not already.
Yeah.
I think you have to pay extra to get in earlier to set up. I think one of the teachers was telling my wife that yesterday. So,
yeah, and part of that is, if you want to get in there and get it done, then it's a great way to make money for the Ross County Fair. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at news topics that are happening across the Scioto Valley. Look at sports, paints.
Wow.
They made it interesting last night, and they're into the conference championship game, which will be held tomorrow night here in Chillicothe. So all that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. But first, let's take a look at what that weather's doing for us today.
Well, the rain continues. Most of the severe threat of weather that we were talking about yesterday afternoon and evening was pretty much southwest Ohio, and some of it went north of us. So we did get a little bit of rain, and we're expecting some more today. Cloudy skies with a chance of rain today and tomorrow. 85 today, 83 tomorrow, and then sunny and back to 90 on Sunday.
So there you have it. Show is up and running, and we'll be back with more right after this. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389 is the number to call. In fact, you'll probably see a Scioto Valley dumpster sitting out at the fairgrounds this week. And they do a lot of stuff out there, too. So you want to find out more, just give them a call, 740-253-8389. You'll probably reach Carl on the phone, and he's pretty busy. It's Fair Week in his sites. So Scioto Valley Dumpsters, you need a dumpster, they can get it to you, and then they'll haul it all away. 740-253-8389.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week. And coming up today, we will have that player that will be named shortly. So stick with us throughout the program. But first, let's take a look at what's making news for us today, which you can follow along on our website, littermedia.com. Also, of course, here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Litter Media Twitter.
As we were just kind of chatting a little bit in the opening, the Ross County Fair opens this weekend for for its annual run north of Chillicothe off State Route 104. Now, some activities, free activities get underway. Well, when I say free, the food's not free. The ticket is for tomorrow. But opening ceremonies are at noon on Sunday, but grandstand entertainment actually begins Saturday morning with the antique and classic tractor pull at 9 a.m. And, of course, Sunday's biggest show is a picture that we got here last year of the grandstand Sunday evening for the Queen and King contest. That starts up at about 8 p.m. That's where also the 4-H'er of the year and lifetime achievement, that kind of thing, is also given out. There's a lot of fair stories already on our website, not fair as in, but Ross County Fair stories, including, if you missed it earlier in the week, all of the contestants for the King and Queen contest. We've got their photos, their bios, all of that in there at littermedia.com.
And Monday, the first night of the fair, you will jump into World Championship Professional Big Time Wrestling. And that, of course, features this guy, speaking of Jimmy Hines, a.k.a. Bobby Fulton. Now, it does cost to get in to see the wrestling, but it's a special package that the fair has that you can have not only the fair admission included in this price, but also your ticket to get in to see the wrestling.
It's $20 and $30, but that includes your fair price.
Okay.
So it's not like $20 on top of the fair price. It's $20, and I don't know how the fair is doing that, but I do know that if you're going to the wrestling, that is included, and the fair is normally about $8, I think, right, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So if you're going to the wrestling, let them know. That way your ticket will get you into the fair and the wrestling matches, and you can't beat that.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, you go to McDonald's now, and a meal is $10. Here you get a chance to see television stars liven them each other, head banging, body slamming, knock down, drag out, for just a little bit more than that.
And one of the big drawing cards is going to be the meet and greet opportunities with the likes of Big Sexy Kevin Nash, who went to college with Cindy Hauserman.
Is that right?
At the University of Tennessee.
I'll have to ask Cindy about Big Sexy.
He was playing for UT basketball, and she, of course, was playing for UT basketball on the women's side. Mm-hmm. And Tony Woods. Tony's name slipped my mind the other day when we were doing this interview. Tony was a wrestler for the Volunteers, all at the same time while they were down there. So neat Chillicothe connections, and so Kevin Nash will be making his way here, as well as many other wrestling superstars. So that all takes place on Monday at the Ross County Fair. I was supposed to be the ring announcer for this event, but due to my recent health issues, I've had to step away from that. But the ever-capable Bud Lytle is going to be the man.
They may throw a chair at Bud before this is over.
I told Bud, I said, I'd like to see a picture of you and Kevin Nash with you in a headlock, because Kevin's like 7 foot tall, and here's little tiny Bud. So should be a lot of fun.
Darren Baker has announced that he is leaving his post as executive director of the Ross County Historical Society to take a position on the faculty of Hocking College. Baker, who came on board at the society just a year ago, has also served as a professor in history at Shawnee State University. We had Darren in here on a couple of occasions for interviews, and we certainly wish him well.
Good guy. Wish he could have stuck around.
Yeah. The Ohio History Connection will open the Octagon Earthworks in Newark, Ohio, for a full public access starting this January 1st, after reaching a settlement with Mound Builders Country Club to buy out its lease on the property. So that means there will be no need for a trial to come up with the fair market value. Of course, this is all part of 8 locations in the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks, recently designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
The Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Financial Institutions has issued an order for CoinZoom Incorporated, a cryptocurrency exchange, to immediately suspend operations here in the Buckeye State. CoinZoom may no longer accept new business or assets from Ohio residents. However, Ohio residents that are current customers are able to withdraw fiat currency or cryptocurrency assets from their accounts. The order follows a multi-state bank examination that Ohio regulators participated in, during which examiners were unable to determine the company's financial condition due to the incomplete or inaccurate financial records. I've not done anything with cryptocurrency. Sometimes you don't dabble in things you don't understand. You know?
And this is obviously a way to protect the customer. Remember 30, 40 years ago, the savings and loan, when the state had to come and bail all of those investors out. So this is to try to head some of that off.
Precisely. August 27th, it's going to be here before you know it. The Ohio State Highway Patrol will host regional testing for prospective applicants to Ohio University Southern. That's down in Ironton. Those interested in employment with the patrol can come to the Collins Center, which is at Ohio University Southern's campus at 10 a.m., where they'll have the ability to talk with troopers about a career of service in our communities and on Ohio's roadways. Those who meet the basic requirements to be a trooper, that's age 20 through 39, you must be a U.S. citizen, have your high school diploma or a GED, and a valid driver's license. You'll have the opportunity to complete an application and a written test during the event. I have done this. Did it back in 1980, and there was, I think maybe 200, close to 250 people taking this test all at the same time. They called 5 people in. Wow. Out of all of those, and I was not one of the 5, but it was something else. But I was a state patrolman at Buckeye Boy State, and I thought, why not? Let's see if we can try this.
See if I can get some more tickets out there.
And then they said, you know what? If you can't be a dispatcher, why don't you try commercial radio? Yeah, and it turned out to be great.
It's that old saying: if you can't do it, teach it or talk about it or something like that. Speaking of the road, our road report takes us to Pickaway County today. This has been an ongoing project. State Route 361 between Wolf Road and Campbell Road still closed for a bridge repair. The detour is US 23 to 22 to State Route 56 and then over to Route 159.
One of the topics that's been getting a lot of conversation has been the last of the large superloads coming through. And a lot of people were already raising questions about it coming through towards the end of the Ross County Fair.
And I forgot all about it. It's in the story, but we just didn't highlight it in the headline. Scioto County Fair is also going on.
Right.
So it'll go through there and then rest just outside the Ross County Fair entrance on Friday.
The good thing about this is ODOT has done a good job of preparing people with information and direction, detour. So there are many ways to get to the Ross County Fairgrounds. Many ways.
But you don't want to get behind this.
No, you don't want to.
Or you'll be in traffic for a while.
Precisely. Paints win!
Ooh.
Paints win! We're going to talk about that coming up in a moment and more with sports. But first, let's tell you about Haynes Chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutrition. I was in for another adjustment yesterday. Things are going well with my recovery from the condition that I've been battling for the last 3 weeks. And I start physical therapy today with Cassie. So it's all being done right there.
Clothes on?
At her, but I'm wearing flexible clothes. That's all I need.
Not the kind you just pull off like the sweats.
No, nothing like that. But I'm about as flexible as I'm going to get, so that's about it. But Haynes Total Health Care Center is where you need to go if you have issues, chiropractic needs and physical therapy. They can take care of all that for you. Want to find out more? Click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, and it takes you to their website, which is hayneshealth.com. Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time for sports, and the folks had to go through weather delay and everything for the Chillicothe Paints last night, but what seemed like it was going to be the end of the ride turned its head and changed things up.
The attendance was 1372. I just wonder how many of them stuck around after they got behind 9-3.
Yeah.
This could go down as certainly one of the biggest comebacks in Prospect League playoff history, as the Paints rallied from a 9-3 deficit and later a 10-5 deficit for an 11-10 Northeast Division Championship win over the Johnstown Mill Rats
Johnstown
at
Mill Rats.
VA Memorial Stadium. Paints got out in front 3-0, and then after a rain or lightning delay, whichever you want to call it, the top of the fourth inning, the Mill Rats scored 9 runs.
I had fallen asleep during that period and woke up, and I was like, what?
You missed a lot, yeah. I think of the 9 runs, 3 were walked in. 1 was driven in on a hit batsman with the bases loaded. I think they only had 4 hits in that inning. But the good news is the Paints then came up with 5 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th for the victory. Now, Chillicothe will host Saturday's Eastern Conference Championship game at 7:05, but their opponent is still to be determined. The Danville and Rex game last night had to be postponed. They're going to play it today. I don't know if it's going to be in the afternoon or evening. But whoever wins comes to Chillicothe Saturday night.
Precisely. And as you mentioned, gates open at 6:05. 7:05 will be the game time. Now, should the Paints win Saturday night, which I got a feeling they're going to, they'll head to the Prospect League Championship Series as the best of 3. And if I'm trying to remember who it was, Brian McClain had messaged me last night, and he was saying that if it's Danville, if it's Danville they have to go to, they may not be able to play there because of difficult weather conditions.
Well, but Danville's who?
Or maybe that's what he was talking about.
That's the final.
Yeah. Perhaps
Eastern
they
Conference.
aren't able to play it there. They were going to move it to normal, I guess.
Okay.
So even with their issues with the weather, he had mentioned to me that apparently they have a lot of holes in the tarp at Danville.
Wow.
And so it just soaked their field. So if they're not able to play there, they're going to have to move it to another location to play that game. Wow.
Let's appreciate that headline that Mike wrote real quick. Paints storm back.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
But I had
you worked in the storm.
He's a professional.
I had an alternate headline that I was already come up with when they were down 9-3. I was listening to our buddy Jacob Wise, the Paints play-by-play guy, and I was feeling for him, man. I mean, it was like, let's get this thing over. And then when things started to go the other way, it was like, hey, we got a chance here. So.
Yeah. And he almost lost his voice. I was listening to the post-game interview with the manager, Darren, and it was along the lines of, hey, when that hit was made for the game-winning RBI, it was like everybody lost their voices.
Yeah.
So
What a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to feel for the Johnstown folks. They probably felt they had it all wrapped up.
What are they thinking about? Yeah.
And they were considering spending the night here and then moving on to the next game. But now they're putting everything away for the year. All right, so the Paints tomorrow night here at VA Memorial Stadium. So you want to make sure you check that out. Cincinnati Reds back into action tonight as they host a 3-game weekend set with the San Francisco Giants. And the Guardians had a bout with the Baltimore Orioles. Mm-hmm. Guardians keep going, man. 10-3, the final yesterday. And they're in action this weekend also, and I can't remember who they play.
They're still playing the Orioles.
Are they still playing the Orioles?
The game one was last night.
So they opened up a 4-game set. Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
McClain Adam Sharp Invitational opened the 2024 high school golf season for a dozen area teams yesterday, and Westfall swept both the girls and boys team titles. In the girls' match, Westfall shot a 151 for first place. Runner-up was Zane Trace. Westfall's Paige Weiss was medalist. Now listen to this, folks. She shot a 5 under par 30 on a 9-hole course. Second place was Rosella Latavo of Zane Trace with a 33, which was 2 under par. Now, on the boys' side, Westfall needed a tiebreaker to edge Chillicothe for the team championship, 157. Westfall's Colton Brungarth claimed medal honors with a par 36. So par for the ladies was 35. For the guys, it was 36. Aiden Fisher of Chillicothe was the individual runner-up. He and Westfall's Brendan Beegler tied with a 38. I think Tays Valley had an invitational also yesterday, but this was the one we featured on our website story, which you can get more details at littermedia.com.
One story we didn't mention was last night's Pro Football Hall of Fame game, and the Pro Football preseason is underway.
I was trying to understand the description of the new kickoff rules, and I'm thinking, really? Is this still football?
I remember, was it a little over a month ago, we were having this discussion. I was looking at all of it, and I was reading it to you, and I was putting him to sleep with all the lists that we were going through. But to see it in action last night, I kind of like it. I wasn't sure what to expect.
Let's just play football.
Well,
but there's only going to be an experiment for 1 year.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, in watching it, I can see where the collisions are not what they have been, because you don't have somebody that's coming at you full speed. Having them that close together and waiting to move until the ball gets into somebody's hand, it just slows a lot of that stuff down.
But that's not the reason they said they changed the rule. It was because they said last year they weren't getting enough kickoff return.
Well, there was a lot of factors.
Less than 21% last year, and they're hoping to make it 50%.
But their biggest thing has been lessening the injuries and potential for, something bad happening, catastrophic happening.
Why don't we just put flags on them?
Well, we got that too, so it's already going on.
Just forget tackling.
Yeah.
They don't let them tackle the quarterback anymore, so. Enough commentary for today. Who's our athlete of the week?
But it was kind of cool to watch, at least. Felix Polanco, Chillicothe Paints. It was difficult to come up with just one player, but we thought he had the hit that brought in the winning run. And I mean, we could have gone with Riley, who was just running all over the place. What's the other fellow's name? Kalako, who had 3 RBIs on the night. We could have gone with Wittig, who pitched great in relief, 4 innings, pretty much shut down Johnstown.
Maybe we just should have given it to the whole team.
You probably should have. Yeah, I don't know.
Team win.
Felix Polanco, he is reaping the benefits of being our Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual Insurance Athlete of the Week. And if you've got someone to nominate, please do so. You can send us an email. You can find all that information right on our website, littermedia.com, and just go to where it says Player of the Week. It's under sports.
Yes, sir.
All right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at this date in history, and we are dialed up to
1945. We're getting near the end of World War II.
All right, that's next.
We want to talk about our good friends at Litter Quality Propane. Online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Accurate heating, cooling, and plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you have an issue with the comfort in your home, click on this ad anywhere on our website, littermedia.com, and it'll take you right to AccurateHVAC.com. You'll be able to find out where they service, which is a large territory. Not only that, you'll find more about their products and how they service our communities. Get more details when you click on this ad at littermedia.com for accurate heating, cooling, and plumbing. This date in history.
1945, the last wartime conference of what is known as the Big Three. Now, you'll notice there's two different pictures here. The Big Three represented the Soviet Union, the U.S., and Great Britain. It concludes after 2 weeks of intense and sometimes acrimonious debate. The conference failed to settle most of the important issues at hand and thus helped set the stage for what would become the Cold War after World War II. Now, on the left, you see a picture at the start of the conference with Winston Churchill of Great Britain, Harry Truman of the U.S., and Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union. But at the closing ceremonies, where's Winston? That is Clement Attlee, because during the Potsdam Conference, Great Britain was holding an election, and Attlee defeated Churchill. Churchill leaves the conference, and Clement Attlee comes in and takes his place.
I'd like to have heard what that conversation was like. not only him coming in, but for Churchill's people to go to Truman and Stalin and say, here's what's happening.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though, this guy was the lion of morale for Great Britain during World War II, our darkest hour. He's the guy leading the charge. So the war in Europe ends and we kick him out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Great Britain. But they brought him back in the 50s as the prime minister. So are we going to see something like that maybe in this country? I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I no longer try to make predictions.
Yeah. But now everything is a prediction because of the open betting.
Yeah.
I mean, they bet on everything. I don't understand how that works. Let's see if Dan can get through his therapy, his physical therapy today. Aaron, what are you laying odds on that?
How many groans will he have between 3:30 and 4 o'clock?
Yeah. You can bet on anything.
I didn't know my leg could do that.
Oh, golly. I can't feel it. I can feel that. Ah. Good luck with that.
I saw a video today. I wish I could have brought it up to put it here, but there was this little Asian girl, and I don't know, she looked like she might have been 9, maybe 10. And my buddy from high school, he says, this is my morning calisthenics. And she comes out and she does these flips for like 10 flips, and then she stops, comes back, and she does somersaults, only she is bending, looking at her. I mean, her chin is on the floor and her body is going over, and she's doing that all the way back to the other side of the screen. And then she comes back and she jumps up and she goes splits, and then comes back and wraps her leg around behind her. Probably the most flexible kid I've ever seen. But it was even funnier because he said, here are my morning calisthenics.
I'd be in traction.
Yeah, not this guy, that's for sure. All right, and congratulations to Team USA.
Yeah.
They have really started raking in all the. You would think, though, with 600-some athletes, and they only have 30-some medals? Come on, guys.
Yeah, what's that?
But France had like, what 500-some?
But did you see where in some of the events, I don't know if this applies to all of them, they're only letting each country have 2 competitors in the finals. So where theoretically the U.S. could have swept gold, silver, bronze, now you can only, I don't know why you do that. Do you want the best or not?
We want only a percentage of the best.
We only want to be politically correct, yeah.
Yeah, I like how they say some of these, like, for instance, the French swimmer who has been doing fantastic. What's his name?
Marchand. Yeah, from France.
He ended up coming here to the United States, went to Arizona State, helped them win an NCAA championship, I think it was this year.
And Michael Phelps, former coach, is now his coach.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's what gets me. Mike Tirico, talking about this, he says, and then he turned pro, and now he's in the Olympics. Right. And it's like, what happened to the days of where you couldn't say you were a professional athlete? You had to be an amateur athlete. So I'm glad we draw the line for our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week, an amateur athlete. All right, that's it for the program today. Before we wrap up, congratulations to Pat Hyland and Jane Hyland. They are closing up their shop, so to speak, with a retirement party today. But the shop is going to continue, just not as Hyland's Ice Creamery. It's going to be Parkside Ice Creamery, and Trevor Kendall and Amy Rand are the new owners. And this happened earlier this year as far as signing the papers and everything. But Pat and I worked for, 20 years together on radio, and wish you and your darling bride finally, retirement. And they have done a great job in serving our community in many ways throughout the years. So hats off to you. Get some ice cream today. All right, that's it for the program. We will see you next week as we jump into the Ross County Fair. Have a great weekend.